You just checked your phone. You put it down. Now you want to check it again. You haven't moved. Nothing has happened, but your hand is already reaching for it. And the strangest part? You already know nothing new is there. This is not a bad habit. It is not weak willpower. It is not even a modern problem. What is happening in your brain right now is something that took hundreds of thousands of years to build, and a handful of engineers in Silicon Valley who figured out exactly how to use it against you. The real reason you cannot stop checking your phone has nothing to do with the phone. It has everything to do with what your brain was designed to do long before phones existed. Your brain runs on a system called the dopamine reward circuit. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz spent decades mapping this circuit in the 1990s, and what he found changed how scientists understood motivation forever. Dopamine, the chemical your brain releases when something good happens, does not fire when you get a reward. It fires when you expect one. It fires in the gap between the action and the outcome. It fires when you reach for the phone, not when you find the notification. This is a critical distinction. Your brain is not chasing satisfaction. It is chasing the possibility of satisfaction. And that is a very different thing. Go back roughly 2 million years. Your ancestors lived in a world where information meant survival. A sound in the grass, a change in the wind, a fruit that appeared on a tree that was bare yesterday. Every flicker of new information in the environment had to be evaluated immediately. Miss it, and you might miss a predator. Miss it, and you might miss food. Miss it, and your genes do not make it to the next generation. So your brain evolved to be a novelty-seeking machine. Psychologist Marvin Zuckerman called this drive sensation-seeking and documented across decades of research how deeply it is wired into human biology. The brain does not calm down when the environment is stable. It scans, it checks, it looks for changes. Because in the ancient world, change was information, and information was survival. Now bring that ancient brain into 2024. Your ancestral drive to scan the environment for new information is still running. But instead of a savanna, the environment is a glass rectangle in your hand. And unlike the savanna, which might deliver something genuinely new only a few times a day, your phone is designed to deliver the feeling of newness hundreds of times per hour. Your brain cannot tell the difference. It does not know it is being fed the digital equivalent of calorie-free junk food. It just registers potential information. Check. Potential change. Check. Potential reward. Check. And here is where it gets darker. The engineers who designed the apps on your phone did not stumble onto this by accident. They studied it. Former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris has documented in extensive detail how platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter were deliberately engineered using what behavioral psychologists call variable ratio reinforcement. This is the same mechanism that makes slot machines so difficult to stop playing. Here is how it works. If you pull a lever and always get a reward, you will pull it steadily. If you pull a lever and never get a reward, you will stop. But if you pull a lever and sometimes get a reward, unpredictably, randomly, with no pattern you can learn, you will pull it compulsively, obsessively, far more than if it always paid off. B.F. Skinner proved this in the 1950s with pigeons. The pigeons did not know they were in an experiment. They just could not stop pressing the button. Neither can you. Every time you open Instagram, you do not know what you will find. Sometimes the feed is boring. Sometimes there's a photo that makes you laugh. Sometimes someone has responded to your comment. Sometimes your post has gotten 20 new likes. Sometimes nothing. The unpredictability is not a flaw in the design, it is the design. The variability is what makes the loop impossible to break because your dopamine system never gets to conclude that the reward is gone. There is always a chance, and your ancient brain, built to survive on the chance that there might be a line in the grass or a fruit on the tree, cannot let go of a chance. Your phone is a constant social signal device. Every notification is a potential social event. Someone liked your photo, someone commented on your post, someone did not respond to your message. Each one carries ancient weight. Your brain is not processing it as a small data event on a server. Your brain is processing it as tribal information. Am I in or am I out? Am I valued or am I invisible? Does the group still know I exist? This is why it feels viscerally uncomfortable to leave a message unread. This is why you check your phone first thing in the morning, before you have even spoken to another person. You are not being shallow. You are executing a social monitoring protocol that kept your species alive for 200,000 years. You just happen to be executing it in a context that was deliberately designed to make it impossible to ever feel complete. Because there is always another notification. There is always another post. There's always another response you could send, another story you could watch, another number that could go up. The slot machine does not have a jackpot big enough to make you stop. The jackpot just resets the craving. Researcher Jean Twenga at San Diego State University analyzed data across millions of American teenagers and found that the spike in anxiety, depression, and loneliness among adolescents corresponds almost precisely with the widespread adoption of smartphones around 2012. The brain that evolved to seek social connection found a device that mimics connection while delivering something far more efficient at hijacking the reward system. The appearance of connection without the neurological satisfaction of real presence. But this is not just a teenage problem. A 2019 study by the American Psychological Association found that adults who frequently check their phones report significantly higher stress levels, even on days when they are not at work. The checking has become decoupled from the information. People check not because they expect to find anything in particular. They check because not checking creates a low-grade anxiety that the ancient brain interprets as a potential missed signal. It feels like leaving a window open that a predator could come through. So, what does this actually mean for you? It means the next time your hand reaches for your phone, some of what is happening is not laziness or addiction in the clinical sense. Some of it is a 2 million-year-old scanning mechanism activating in a world it was not built for. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem is that the world has been redesigned around it. Understanding this does not fix it. Knowing a slot machine is rigged does not stop the pull. But it does change the relationship you have with the pull. Because when you watch your own hand reach for the phone and you recognize what is actually happening beneath that impulse, a dopamine system built on the savannah, running a survival program inside a device designed by people who studied that program and monetized it, something shifts. You are no longer a person with bad habits. You are a human animal running ancient code in a manipulated environment. And that is a much more honest place to start. Because tonight, when you reach for your phone for the 40th time and you are not sure why, you will know exactly why. The hand has always known what it is looking for. What is new is everything it is looking in.